Good to see you, Wally.
Yes, sir. All right, so good to see everybody here. Thanks for joining us. Let me take a deep breath and slow down here. Okay, so a lot of folks, when they become a real estate agent, don't really understand the sales process. Does that make sense? There are folks that come from the sales industry, but a lot of folks don't. And there's actually a sales process that you need to follow in order to ensure that you get good results. Is that fair? You know, and there's even a process over the phone versus a process face to face. You lose somebody over the phone, you know, it's over. It's hard to get somebody's attention. You know what I'm saying? You can't like whistle on the phone and say, hey, pay attention. Face to face, you've got physiology, but it's tough. So today I'm just going to talk about a few strategies that you can use in your presentations over the phone that are they're very simple, but they're super effective. And it's just basically falls into 4 categories. It's tie downs. So you want them down, tie downs, transitions, trial closes, and closes. Okay, so these are all ways for you to go ahead and check in with people and make sure that they're making sense. And so am I able to share here? I am. Look at me. All right, nice. Let me just find the page that I want first so I don't bring up pictures of my kids for you. Okay, here it is. Okay, cool. So we're going to start with tie downs here. If you guys are familiar with Tom Hopkins, I'm sure Tom is. Tom's been in the business a minute. So Tom Hopkins is probably one of the original real estate coaches. He was a real estate agent. And so he talks about the impact of tie downs. This is from Jeb Blount's page from Sales Gravy. But you know, there's these tie downs that we can use when we're having conversations with people to make sure that we check in and that things work well. It's also a way to get them to agree with us on things we need them to agree with us on. Right? If I'm looking for a no, I'm going to ask a question that gets me a no. If I'm looking for a yes, I'm going to ask a question that gets me a yes, right? I mean, it's kind of like, you know, unless you're stupid, you don't ask somebody to marry you unless you've had the conversation and you know for a fact when you give them that ring, they're going to take it, right? You've seen the blown proposals where guys ask women and the women are like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we want to ask questions that we know we're going to get specific responses to. So, for instance, a big tie down would be that you would use would be probably during a face-to-face negotiation for your commission. Okay, so let's say you go through the comps, you do the net sheet, and then you go through and you do a net sheet. And if you're not doing a net sheet, you get them to focus on that bottom line dollar amount. And invariably they go, how much is that commission? You tell them, they go, what percentage is that? And then you tell them the percentage and like, we don't want to pay that percent. So we've got a number one, we got to get them to focus on what they're walking away with, but we also have to go back into the presentation and make sure we refer back to what we talked about and what they agreed with. And this is where tie downs and trial closes come into play. And here's what I mean. So you have a listing presentation. Let's just say you're talking about your marketing, right? I've got an 89-point marketing plan, or maybe you start out this way. Hey, do you agree that price is a function of supply and demand? I do. So the more demand I can generate on your home, the better chance I have of getting the price you want, right? Okay, great. Well, I've got an 89-point marketing plan that covers all this stuff for you to go over everything. And along the way, you say, hey, I invest X number of dollars on the 5 biggest websites, making sure your home's on the 5 biggest search websites out there. So you're going to be on Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com, Realtor.com, whatever. And that's where I invest the bulk of my budget, because that's where the majority of people start their home search. And that's where people are going to get access to the information. They're going to see your home first there, and then they can submit a request. And then I can also find the right buyer. So by investing my budget there, and it's a substantial budget, I can get the largest number of the right people to your front door, so they'll come in and pay the price you want. Okay. And then I can use a little bit of a tie down and say, does that make sense? Or can you see that? All right. Or like, I'm a big makes sense fan or something like that. Okay. And then, or you can say agreed, or it's a good solution. You can just pick one. So there's a tie down. Okay. And so you go through the rest of the marketing section, and at the end, you do a little trial close. Can you see how having a marketing plan with a solid budget that invests in the internet advertising, where most of the people are looking, are going to help us find the largest number of the right buyers for your home? Can you see that? Can you see how that's going to help us get your home sold for more money? And the whole goal is to get them to say yes. You see that? Right? I'm not asking them to commit to anything, but that's, you know, how that's going to help your home sell for $5,000 to $10,000 more, or whatever it is. So, and I was an English major in college, so I kind of present in that way too. It's unless I'm 9 minutes late to a meeting, and then I just kind of run with it. But Normally I do, it's an introduction, right? You do an introduction, then you've got a body and you explain what you're going to talk about, and then you've got you've got a close, right? And then you get a transition to the next paragraph. So we're going to talk about marketing here. Great marketing allows me to, drive the demand up on your home better than anybody else. And by doing that, we can get more of the right people through your home. Here's how I do it. Here's the benefit to you. Here's why I invest the money that I do. Do you see how this would be? And basically by putting my money on the internet, that's where I find the largest number of people who are going to look for your home. Does that make sense? It does. Okay, great. I go through the whole thing, and then, hey, so can you see how investing my budget here and doing these things for marketing is actually going to help me get more people through your home, so I can sell your home for $5,000 to $10,000 more, right? I'm doing that for a couple of reasons. Number one, I don't want to lose them, right? Number two, I'm gaining agreements that all make sense in their brain, and then I'm gonna do a little trial close so that when the commission comes up at the end, I can refer back to that. You see how that works? And so now let's go back to the commission, and they said, well, geez, that percentage is really high. Okay, so face-to-face objection handling. First thing you do is say, you can even do it over the phone. First thing you do is you repeat it back to them, show them that you're listening. Hey, so basically it's the percentage, that's the problem. Is that what you're saying? Okay, great. And then you cushion it. Hey, listen, I get it. I understand. That makes complete sense. It's not the cheapest, and I get that. And then you're going to isolate it real quickly. So is the commission the only thing that's keeping us from doing business tonight? Or are you listing your home with me? Is that the only thing stopping us from working together? It is. Okay, great. And so then okay, super. So, and then you go ahead and handle the objection. You say, okay, great. Listen, you're right. It's not the cheapest out there, but when we talked about marketing earlier, you agreed with me that by investing more money in the right places online, it helps me drive the demand up on your home. So not only do I get the right number of buyers, but I get the right number of the right buyers who are going to buy your home. Like, you've got a move up home here, right? So it's not going to appeal to a luxury buyer. It's not going to appeal to a first time home buyer, right? It's going to appeal to a move up buyer. So my marketing will target move up buyers with the copy, with the pictures and everything else. And then we're going to cast a huge net. We're going to go wide, and we're going to find the largest number of buyers, so your home will sell in the time frame that you want to get you to Florida to be with your grandkids, and to find that right buyer who's willing to pay the amount of money for your home. You agreed with me that was the right choice, yes? And the right thing. Okay, cool. Well, in order for me to do that for you, I have to invest more money. I'm willing to take the risk myself and invest the money ahead of time to get those people through here. But in order to help you get more money, it's going to require more marketing and advertising on my side, right? And then I would use a little tie down. Okay, then I would say, which one of these is a good one right here? I had one. Okay, where are you? Do you see what I mean? Okay, do you see what I mean? And they'll go, yes. And then you got to close it and say, okay, so you see the fact that the higher investment on my side is you're going to get your home sold for more money, correct? Okay, super. So that's why that commission is at that price. Okay, and then you can go like this. So can we go ahead and get started now? Can we just get this started now? All right, and just kind of move forward, or can we go ahead and move forward? All right, so by taking things, and I even did that in the specific order too, right? Like, you got there's a process for everything, and not lose people. So, and again, for objections face to face, you're going to repeat it. You're going to go ahead and cushion it. Then you're going to repeat it. Then you're going to isolate it. Then you're going to handle it, and then you're going to close it. Okay, and then that part of that, you will use a tie down on that, and you will use a close as well. You guys with me? Any questions so far? Is that helpful for you to do that, to understand this? Like, I see a lot of real estate agents, they go in and do their listing presentations, and then they sit down and I can't, this is my laptop, so they plunk their laptop down, and they don't spend any time building massive rapport. They do a quick walkthrough, they sit down, and then it's the all about me show, right? They pull out whatever they do, me, EXP, me, all my marketing, I'm saying. They don't really spend any time building rapport and setting the stage for a good presentation, right? A good presentation is not telling. It's asking lots of questions and then finding out what the problem is, and then problems are, and then showing them how you're going to solve them, and making sure that you literally do intro, explanation, offer, whatever it is, or what I do great here, a quick little tie down along the way, and then a trial close, and then a transition to the next thing. So if we were to lay out your entire listing presentation from the beginning, this is kind of what it would look like with all those elements in place. Get to the front door, knock on the front door. You should say this: hey, Are you folks ready to get your home sold? Always ask that when you walk in the house, because that's going to tell you where their mindset is, right? If they say we are, you're like, woohoo, like, Mack truck, 6 gear, let's go, right? If they're like, well, we're not sure, or at least you know what you're up against. You walk in, I used to take my shoes off, and then sometimes I'd forget that day I put on socks with holes on them. Don't forget that. Okay. So this is the beginning when I wasn't making a lot of money. I had to keep those socks. So go to the kitchen table, put your stuff down. Okay. So number one, are you ready to get your home sold? What is that? That's a trial close, right? Are you folks ready to get your home sold? That's a trial close, right? And I'm continually testing them to make sure that we're on the same page and that we're not losing them along the way, right? Your goal is to walk away with the listing paperwork signed, right? If I lose you somewhere along the way and keep presenting, I get to the end, it's not going to be easy to get it signed, right? So, hey, can we go to the kitchen table? Great. Is it okay if I sit here? You put, and then you're going to say, hey, who's going to take me for the grand tour? Whoever says, honey, you do it, or I'm going to do it. That's the person who's likely has the bigger hand in making the decision. And when you come back to the kitchen table, you're going to have that person sit closest to you. And then you're going to do a walkthrough. Okay. If you're in a good climate where Tom is, or I am, or whatnot, there's not a lot of snow, you can do interior and exterior walkthroughs year round. They have a basement, do a basement. You want to spend a good 15 minutes, 20 minutes with the walkthrough. And here's why. Know, like, and trust, right? The KLT, know, like, and trust. People want to do business with those that they know, like, and trust. And they really have to like you before they're going to trust you. And they got to get to know you so they can like you. So that's why that walkthrough is so important. Okay. So because you're going to use matching and mirroring, pacing and leading, you got to build rapport physiologically. And then you're going to use affinity or similarities in order to go ahead and really connect with them. Like, Tom, you're a big USC football fan, right?
No, Bruins.
I know I'm teasing you. That's why I said that. Busting your chops. You're a 49ers fan for sure. You're a 49ers fan.
49ers, that's right.
Yeah, I knew he was a Bruins fan. I had to stick it to him. So the whole point is if I'm walking around and I'm looking at Bruins. If he has any UCLA stuff around, he likes to ride his bike. He has all these fancy suits that he wears. Like I'm trying to find out the things that I have in common with him so we can connect. You don't want to go back to that kitchen table until you feel like you've made friends with them. Is that fair? If you shortcut this, your listing presentation is going to be infinitely harder. Okay. Now and then you're done. And then a quick transition. Okay. Let's go back to the table and talk about it. Nice turn. Let's go back to the table and talk about it. Right. You're setting them up. You go back, you sit down. Now, I recommend you do a seller counseling interview before you do a listing presentation. If you don't have one, I can upload here and you guys can give it to you, but it's just a list of questions that you would ask the seller just to confirm what you know about them. Most importantly, you want to confirm timing and motivation. Are they talking to another agent? Are they open to listing with you when they get there? And I'll definitely upload it so you can share it, Tom. It basically just makes sure that before you go in this listing presentation that you're meeting with somebody who can list a home, right? It's not good enough just to get an appointment. We need somebody who's got equity, somebody who's moving in 90 days or less. Hopefully they have a life event associated with their move, especially in this market. Like if it's not a birth, a death, getting a job, leaving a job, marriage, divorce, if it's not one of those things, it's going to be tough to get them to price their home right. It's also going to be tough to get them to do a price reduction as well. Is that fair? Because their motivation isn't as high. So you want to make sure you're sitting with the right people. And then so when you sit down, you'll review that seller counseling interview because you only spoke with one person on the phone. And then I recommend you do some market update or market review. And then you're going to go ahead and then you're going to transition to your presentation. So now it's a transition. Something to like this. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thanks for sharing that with me. I think I've got a really good understanding of where you're trying to go and what you're looking to accomplish here. You folks are looking to get to Florida before school starts next year, so you can be there when your grandkids go into school. That's perfect. And you're looking for top dollar. You're not in any rush, but at the same time, you do need to meet that 90-day time frame, correct? Great. Well, listen, I'm confident that with what we do here, let me take a step back. We'll go back to that question again. So here's the question and close thing, question, trial, close. You agree with me that price is a function of supply and demand? Yes, I do. Okay, great. So it stands to reason the more demand that I can drive up on your home, the better chance I have of getting you the price you're looking for, correct? Yes. Okay, that's a trial close, right? So assuming I can demonstrate that to you tonight, would you be open to listing your home with me tonight? That's another trial close, right? Like I'm getting them to agree with me to keep moving forward. All they're saying is keep moving forward, Wally. Keep moving forward, Wally. You guys see that? Like, I want to make sure that I am getting permission all the way through, so that when we get to the end, they've said yes, 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 to everything I've asked, and there's no reason for them not to list with me. And if they don't want to list with me, then I can go back and point stuff out to where they agreed to all that. Fair? You with me? Right? So then, and most times when I would say that to people, they say, yeah, absolutely. Or that's why you're here. Okay, great. And you go into your presentation, right? And so it doesn't matter. I mean, everybody, you got to, if you have a team, you got to cover your team, marketing, social media, whatever the heck you're doing, how we take care of your transaction, whatever it is. Just make sure for each thing you're talking about, you tee it up. You say, hey, in order to make sure your transaction goes smoothly, I've got a full team of people that works with me. And even if you are an individual agent, you have a team. You got a lender, you got a title company, right? You got a brokerage. Okay, so everybody's got a team. Don't underestimate that. Explain what the team does. Explain how those things benefit you. If you've got a VA, which pretty much everybody can get these days, hey, listen, I've got an assistant that helps me with your closing. They're going to dot all the I's, cross all the T's. They're going to make sure you close on time. They're going to make sure you don't overpay for our services, right? You can see the advantage of having that, can't you? There's a tie down. Great. Then go all the way through it. Then you do a little trial close. When you choose the agent that's going to help you get your home sold, it makes sense that you hire somebody that has a team that makes sure all the things go smoothly, so that you close on time and that that it's a great experience, right? That's you see that's the best solution, correct? Yes. Okay. And then you transition. Okay, so well, in addition to having a great team, also I do this, right? It's almost like we're tying a little bow and moving on, and then you just keep going through it. And then at some point, if you're paying attention, you should see a buying signal, which is they're following along. Yes, we get it. They're finishing your sentences, or they're saying, hey, how much will that cost? Or will we get that? Or how will that work for us? As soon as somebody starts applying what you're doing to them, that's means it's time to close, right? Time to move on. So, and don't oversell. Like, as soon as you get the sense that they're ready to move forward, you just check in and say, hey, based upon what I've shown you so far, what do you like the most? We love your marketing program. Yeah, I really love it too. It's served my clients really well over the years. So based on what you've seen so far, are you as comfortable as I am that I'm the best agent for the job, or did you need to see more? Most times they're going to say, well, we want to see the price of the home. Okay. If they see that, you're like, okay, great. But how do you feel about me? You want them to say that you're that you're the guy or the gal. If they don't, that's fine. But if they're asking to move on to price to a certain extent, that it means they think you're good, right? Does that make sense? Okay. And then you transition to pricing. Okay, great. So, and again, assuming we can agree on price and the numbers make sense, you're okay with letting us list your home. Transition and the trial close all at once, right? I'm not trying not to move forward from that until I get that from them, because that's important. Then we go through what we did before, and I like to ask people permission. Pricing your home is a science and an art. Pricing it incorrectly could cost you thousands of dollars in any number of ways. So I'm giving you permission to be honest with me. I just need your permission to be honest with you. Are you okay with that? Great. Go through your pricing and all that stuff. Okay. And then at the tie down, you show the net sheet, you show the price. How's that price work for you? Okay. By the way, how does that amount for you? The walkaway amount? And then negotiate from there, whatever you have to. But the whole point is you're controlling what's going on. You're checking in along the way, making sure that the pieces of your presentation make sense and they see the value in it. And then you're tying down in the different sections to make sure it's okay to move on. And then before you move on to pricing, you're transitioning and trial closing to make sure that you are the right person for the job. And then hopefully you don't have to ask for a hard close at the end, that it all makes sense. This is the amount of money you want to go away with. Okay, great, super. Let me show you how to get started, or let me show you how to get involved. That's a big Tom Hopkins one. Okay. So does that all make sense, you guys? A lot of people don't do their presentations that way, and then something squiggles away or squirms away along the way, and they don't know why they lost it, right? One other thing, and I forgot to mention this. During your walkthrough, you need to ask them, say, hey, did you get a chance to talk to everybody you were going to talk to regarding the sale of your home? Not did you get to meet with all the other agents, specifically ask them anybody else, because sometimes people feel like they're going to talk to their uncle, their grandmother, their whatever. Did you get a chance to talk to everybody you were going to talk to regarding the sale of your home? If they say yes, great. If they say no, say, okay, who else do you need to talk with? And find out. Because we've all done this. I know I did. You sit down, you do the whole listing presentation. They're like, great. Okay, great. We have 3 other agents coming in after you, so we got to talk to them first. Really? I mean, it's that kick to the stomach. It makes you want to throw up. Because then you have a choice. You can two-step it. You can say, okay, back to the kitchen table. Great house. Let me go back to the office and put pencil to paper and come up with a really good price for you. By the way, never list your home with anybody before they do a walkthrough and then go back and price it. Try and, poison the other agents, if you will. Their efforts, not them. And then if they say like, no, we can't do that, then you just got to ride and just close like crazy. Okay. Right. Hey, geez, we want to interview other agents. Okay. Was there something you were hoping to see you didn't see today? Right? Is it the price? Is it me? Did I not cover what you wanted to see in the sale of your home, and see if you can close it from there? But in a nutshell, that's really how you lay out a listing presentation. You do the same thing with the price using, but a listing presentation, so you don't skip steps, that you gain agreement, that you build momentum, that you get them to say, yes, I see the value, and you have permission to move on, and that when you get to pricing, you're in the right place. Okay. Any questions?
That was great. That was really good.
Thank you.
Any other question? Anyone have any questions?
Just a quick question, Wally. So you said about the 5 top websites, and you do investing in marketing. Okay, let's just be real. So we all put it on the MLS, and then it goes on the websites, right? Zillow, okay, what do you mean by that marketing dollar investment? Like, you don't advertise on Zillow, right?
I mean, people do pay to showcase homes on different sites and stuff like that. But the point is that there's over 1 billion websites now, right? There used to be like 900. There's over 1 billion websites, but real estate consumers really only go to 5. They go to Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, Yahoo Homes used to be up there, or Homes.com, and believe it or not, Redfin is number 5. But I don't mention Redfin because why would I mention a competitor? So I mentioned the next one. But the fact of the matter is that you are paying money to your MLS, aren't you?
Yep.
Okay, and you have syndication you're paying for, right, as well?
Yeah, 2 MLSs I pay for.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, right? So the whole point is you're paying for it, but you want to get them to, because other people are going to say, I've got an 89-point marketing plan, and I also advertise on Bob's House of Waffles and real estate too. Nobody's going to go there, right? You're just trying to get them to focus on the fact that, hey, I know what the heck I'm doing. Fair enough?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Any other questions? That was a good question, by the way. Thank you. I just uploaded the seller counseling interview. It seems long, but it's not. A lot of times, especially if you're calling an expired or withdrawn or something like that, you will have a lot of this information anyway. You're going to check tax records, but that seller counseling interview I just shared with you is really, you need to get the questions answered. And really the biggest questions are the timing and the motivation questions, what they think their house is worth, right? And how they came up with that price, rating their home, asking what they think is really good inside the home. Right. Nobody should ever go to a listing appointment without knowing the answers to those questions. Otherwise, it's like going to a battle completely unarmed. Okay. Print that out. Say, and it's a real good transition on your call too. You set the listing appointment. And, hey, just so I can do the best job in preparing for when we get together, let me ask. Okay. Right. Are you going someplace else? Is there a referral opportunity? Am I staying in the area? Right. You have some rapport. Because look, think about this. What's gas in California now? Like still like $5 a gallon. 6 now, probably. Yeah, it went back up. It's over $3 here in Texas. I mean, we're as close to the oil as anybody here in Texas, right? But think about this. Now, you're gonna spend time away from your family, probably at least 2+ hours, including travel time. You're gonna put gas in your car. You're gonna get dressed up. You're gonna take yourself out of your business, right? Okay. And if you want to make 100 grand a year on a 40-hour work week, that's $50 an hour. So let's just say 3 hours all in, it's 150 grand, probably another, in California, at least another 10, $15 for gas, right? Time. It's like, if you're going to go, you got to make sure it's worth that investment. Okay. And that's why we check in ahead of time before we go. Anybody else have any questions? I mean, I'm happy to answer anything. Anybody have anything specific going on that they're having a little trouble with right now with respect to listings they'd like an answer about? Bueller?
I think it all comes back to the point you made, which was, justifying your marketing and getting the most commission, because in California, everybody wants a discount. Everybody.
Right. Oh, sorry. And let's talk about that for a second, okay? And this is why and who was that? That's that Mario. Thank you. So this is why the rapport is so important, right? It's a lot easier for me to ask questions of people and ask people to make a commitment when we get along with each other and know each other well, and I trust you. Like there's a statistic in prospecting that basically 40 nurtured leads I'm trying to think here. They move faster and they make bigger purchases, right? So 47% of nurtured leads make bigger purchases and they move faster. And the main reason is that somebody's educating them and they have trust, right? I didn't know I could afford much more money for a house. I didn't know that I could afford that house, right? So that whole thing does it. So when I'm talking with somebody and they trust me, it's a lot easier to go to that. But if you just sit down and you plunk down your listing presentation, say, this is it, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is me. And you don't say in the beginning, what are your goals? Have you worked with any other real estate agents before? What did you like? What didn't you like? Did you meet with the other people you're going to meet with? What didn't you like? What did you like? And then you're basically selling specifically to their needs. And you want to get out of here in 45 days. The average time on market right here in your area is 75 days. Okay. In order to do that, we're going to have to get a larger number of people through your home, especially for the price you're asking for, which I know I can do, but it's going to require a larger investment. I'm going to have to pull my whole team in to go ahead and work their butts off so we can get more people through your home. You want more money, you want more home, you've got to go ahead and invest more money. Again, I'm willing to take the risk, and you see all the things that I do to get your home sold and get more people through it. But in order for do that, I'm going to have my commission is higher, but at the end of the day, you're still going to walk away with more money even after my higher commission than you would with anybody else, or if you did it yourself. And I can, if I get them to agree when I'm going through my presentation with tie downs and transitions and trial closes, if I get them to agree early on that, yes, I see this and I see the value and I see how it helps, it's a lot easier for me to refer to it later on, right? And then here's the thing, you can always offer a pricing guarantee if you have to as well. Hey, look, here's the deal. I think your home is worth this price. We both agree that your home is worth this price, so let's do this. If you'll list your home with me tonight, okay, let's agree that this is the fee we're going to pay. But I'll put a little clause in here that says, if I don't get you this amount, or if you want to do 99% of this amount, then I'll go ahead and reduce my fee at closing. Okay. At least give me a chance to earn that fee. And if not, then I'll go ahead and I'll reduce it at closing for you. And we'll agree on that now. And don't go down full points, go down quarter point, half point. Like, don't, people are like, oh, we'll just give up a whole point. By the way, a point is not 1 point, it's 17%. It's a 17% reduction on a 6% commission. It's a lot, right? So just negotiate, and if they want you to reduce the fee, I'm happy to reduce my fee, but let me at least have a chance to earn it. If I can't earn it, then we'll give you a break, okay? Here's the other thing. You need to know your market well. You should be able to tell people that all the homes, and I don't know if you guys know this or not, but 2021 and 2022, two of the best markets in history with respect to increases in values of homes. Both years, 38% of homes did not sell for full value. 38%. And in fact, I'll upload the 2022 NAR profile that has that information for you. You bring that page with you and you show people that, because they think that just because the market's high, rising tide does raise all ships, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all ships are going to be at the same height. So let me upload this for you too. It costs $19 usually, but this is a little gift from your Uncle Wally. But take that and just at section 6 later on, like 620, 622 around there. It'll be section 622. You'll see average home sale price. It'll be average home sale prices, and then it'll say what percentage of homes sold. It basically goes 90, 95, 95, 90, 90, 90, something like that, 99, 100, and 100 and over. So yeah, 62% sold at 100 and over, 38% sold below. And why was that? Because they hired an inexperienced real estate agent who didn't know how to price their home, and they didn't market it properly and position it properly for sale. I mean, think about this, 2021, when things were flying off the shelf, homes were still not selling for full price. That makes no sense. Anything else? Hopefully I made up for my target.
One other question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The 89-point marketing plan. Where do I find that? How do I find it?
Listen, I just pulled that out of my arse. Okay. Some agents will literally pull out this page and it looks like an octopus. It'll be like your home, and then it'll have all these things that it goes to. It's like I stand with a sandwich board on Main Street every Friday advertising. I mean, just it has all these things on there that are completely inconsequential to the sale of your home. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an 89-point marketing plan. You just need stuff that works.
Yeah. But I just want to do a quick call out to you and Tom. Thank you guys for that insight into listing and plans and all
This
that.
was great.
Thank you. Hey, again,
Wally, if
sorry
anyone
about
wants
this.
to get a hold of you, Wally, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
I'm going to give you my email, and you can send me an email, or if you want to go to my website, you can schedule a half hour. My code and my in my calendar at any time. So again, I'm really sorry. I was late. Hopefully I made up for it with the value I delivered today.
Very good, Wally. It was
And you
awesome.
guys, thanks. If you guys
Yeah,
have
that
any
was great.
questions, if you have any questions, you can always reach out and ask me. I also have a group on Facebook called Trigger Sales System, and you can hop in there. I put stuff there. You can ask any questions. But look, I see one last thing, and this is kind of my PSA right now. You know, Tom and I don't know anybody else who's been in the industry long enough, but thank you, Mario. Tom and I, you know, we were in the industry. Well, Tom, you were in the industry. Were you in the industry during no, you got 36 years on you?
I started in, before everybody was born, 77.
77. So Tom saw the worst recession in history in 79, 80, 81. Tom saw the double dip recession between 90 and 92. He saw the dot-com bubble. He saw COVID, and he saw the Great Recession. So he's seen all 5 of those. And here he is, still one of the most successful real estate agents on the face of US soil. Okay. And it's because he followed the systems that work well. Does that make sense? He knows what works. He doesn't futz around with stuff that doesn't work. Okay. And one of the things that he does is he makes sure that when he meets with people, they can actually do something. Tom generates a ridiculous number of leads, and they don't meet with everybody because not everybody's ready to buy or sell. So when you talk to somebody, you have to have a minimum requirement. Okay. Me pretend you're McDonald's. I'm never going to walk into McDonald's at this point in my life, having been around for 70 years. I'm going to get shrimp scampi from them. I won't be able to go to Olive Garden and get, chicken chow mein. They have business models, and your business model needs to be in every market. I'm not meeting with anybody who's not selling or buying in less than 90 days. I'm not going to meet with anybody who either doesn't have equity in their home or can't get financing or have cash, and they have to be wanting and actually needing to move. A birth, a death, getting a job, leaving a job, marriage, divorce, relocation, or school, something that I have to move for. Because other than that, you are wasting your time mostly, right? Somebody wants a bigger bathroom, a bigger backyard, a nicer kitchen. Okay. Somebody's got like even renters who want to buy, like that's not even a reason to move. I don't have to move, right? Right. Now you want to talk to them and you want to test them, but try and, especially today, try and make sure that when you go see people, you're meeting with people who can actually and want to do something that will save you a lot of headaches and a lot of money.
Awesome. Wally,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much. Happy Friday. Have a great Memorial Day
guys.
weekend. We're an amazing country. A lot to be thankful for. We're blessed.
Thank
Bless
you.
you all. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
See you soon.
Thank
You
you.
did.
Awesome.
Bye now.
Thank you.